based on our results and where I saw us potentially going in the future, felt like it was necessary to make a change.
The search is on for a new head man after football coach Rod Carey was let go after 3 seasons with the Owls.
And he wasn't the only one getting the pink slip. Volleyball needs a new head coach as well. We break it down. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. I'm Sage Hurley, and he is not Josh Saffron, but he'll be along in a bit. Instead, Jackson Neal will share the desk with us today for his last show in TV Studio 3 before he graduates this month.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. And the last show is a busy show. Many coaching changes, starting off with football. On Monday, Temple announced that Rod Carey is out as head football coach after 3 seasons. In a statement, Carey thanked Temple and the players, saying that he will continue to be an Owls fan moving forward. During his 3 seasons, Carey guided the program to a 12-20 record, including just 4 wins in the past 2 seasons. The news isn't the biggest shock. The Owls had a miserable season with 7 straight losses to end the year and a last-place finish in the AAC. Following the announcement on Monday, Athletic Director Arthur Johnson addressed questions about the Owls' plan moving forward. He commented on what Temple is looking for in its next head coach, the current interest in the job, and why they decided that now was the time to start over.
What we want is competitive excellence in all areas, and evaluating that based on our results and where I saw us potentially going in the future, felt like it was necessary to make a change. I can say that I've heard from a number of people around the country. There's great interest in the position, so I'm not surprised by that at all, given the recent success of previous coaches who've been here. It's easy for those of you, all of you follow us, the results. At the end of the day, we work in a profession and I'll call it a business, the part of it where we can get instant feedback when the clock hits 0 or the last point is scored. So that gives you that.
When the news broke on Monday, 2 Owls in the NFL shared their support for the change. Quincy Roche on the New York Giants alluded to an unpleasant relationship with the Owls under Carey, but expressed his excitement to return back as an alumni. Sean Chandler on the Carolina Panthers went a step further, urging Temple to hire its former assistant and current secondary coach at Rutgers, Fran Brown, for the job. There have been more than a few changes on 10th and Diamond since you've last seen us, so let's break it down for you. I know you've missed him as much as I did. Welcome Josh Saffron to the studio for some timeline talk.
Why, thank you, Sage. And a few changes is one way to put it, but since I've last been on there have really been seismic changes to the cherry and white. Strap in for the fastest minute in Temple football. Now, the first domino to fall was the announcement that Jaden Blue was entering the transfer portal on November 10th. It was a surprising move considering Blue was 5 receptions away from setting an all-time Temple record. But with all the transfers in the last 2 years, it's hard to be surprised by anything. Just a week after Blue's departure from the team, former Temple running back Iverson Clement made some hefty allegations on Twitter. Clement cited a toxic environment at Temple football led by Carey and his strength staff. Clement says he had an argument with the strength coach in August and was temporarily dismissed from the team with clear guidelines of what he needed to do to be admitted back. But according to Clement, he did everything that was asked and never even got a text back from Coach Carey. Just one day after the Clement doctrine, QB1 DeJuan Mathis announced he will enter the transfer portal, but not so fast. Just a few days later, DeJuan announces he's back. I theorized DeJuan couldn't handle being around Coach Carey any longer and wanted to bow out until the head coach was dismissed. Now, after all of that madness off the field, it was time to play a football game. where the Owls got smoked 38-14 by a Navy team that had only won 2 games prior. And finally, on November 29th, Rod Carey is relieved of his duties as head coach on the very first Monday following the end of Temple's season, and I don't think anyone was surprised. That's November in a nutshell. Sage, back to you.
Thanks, Josh. 32 games, only 12 wins, 8 of which came in his first season. Only 4 since the onset of COVID, and 1 bowl game that resulted in a loss. If my math is correct, that shapes up to be a program-altering equation, one that equaled 35 players transferring out of Temple's football program.
With this change, there are now some concerns as to where the program is headed from here. Personally, I think number one, Temple needs to improve its recruiting. The talent wins games, and the Owls have fallen behind the rest of the American. Each of their past 3 recruiting classes have ranked in the bottom half of the AAC, according to 24/7 Sports. Then, number 2 is coaching, and more specifically, the coaching search. Johnson mentioned in his press conference that Temple will be using a search firm. I understand wanting to be methodical in the hiring process, but the Owls are falling behind. Programs around the country have already begun hiring head coaches, and if Temple doesn't act fast, they could lose out on some good candidates.
I completely agree, Jackson. And a new coach means new recruits, and that's exactly what I'm concerned about. Johnson said in that Monday press conference that the remaining staff will not be on the road or hosting recruits. And as for the 6 players already committed, he's planning to get a sense of where their heads are at with no head coach and nothing but speculation about what's to come. I'm concerned that Temple will lose out on both their current and prospective recruits, and that will end with the program taking more steps back before having a chance at moving forward. And next, just like Jackson said, he's most concerned about a new head coach. I'm most concerned about what that head coach will do to rebuild Temple's notorious Temple tough culture. Between Iverson Clement sharing his story about his negative experience with Carey on Twitter and alum Quincy Roche alluding to negative experiences as well, it seems this program has a lot of wounds to heal.
With all that's been going on since Monday, it's easy to forget that this past Saturday was game day and senior day versus Navy. OwlSports Update's Cameron Schofield has more on Temple's quarterback carousel in the team's season finale.
It was a game of lasts. A crowd of more than 16,000 came out to watch Temple's last game of the season against Navy. Little did they know, it would also be Rod Carey's last game as head coach. And for 15 graduating seniors, it was the last time they would ever run out onto their home field at the Link.
It's a bittersweet feeling. It probably ain't hit me yet. It's probably gonna hit me tomorrow when I go to EO to get all my stuff.
The Owls haven't finished the season with a win dating back to 2017, and this loss to Navy was a reminder of just how rough 2021 has been.
We got a 24-14, and then defense couldn't hold right there, and probably a reaction of being on the field the whole time.
Coach Rod Carey used 2 quarterbacks in the 12th and final game of the season, Justin Lynch and Mariano Valenti. But in college football, 2 is not better than 1.
The lack of offensive cohesion set the entire team back. The Owls turned the ball over 3 times, once on a muff punt return, and twice from running back Tavon Rooley.
I think if the offense had helped more, I think the defense was good enough to win. And I've certainly felt that couple of the last weeks.
The Owls finished the season with a 7-game losing streak after the loss to Navy. And now, a help-wanted sign at the door of Edberg Olsen. Reporting from Lincoln Financial Field, I'm Cameron Schofield, OwlSports Update.
Before we look ahead to the rest of Temple athletics, let's close the door at Temple football. The Owls lost their last 7 games this season to finish at the bottom of the conference. Throughout the season, the Owls were outscored 98-7 in the first quarter, only averaging 16 points per game on offense. Defensively, they just could not stop the run, allowing over 220 yards per game and an average of 37.5 points to the opposing team. During the 7-game slide, the Owls were outscored by an average of 34 points per game. We're up against our first break, but stay tuned.
Coming up, we look at the men's basketball team that took on Big 5 rival LaSalle on Wednesday. We have highlights, a breakdown of where the team stands, and a story about a second-year player making an early impact. OwlSports Update is back in 90 seconds.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Tonight, along the Texas Gulf Coast, utter devastation. Harvey barreled ashore overnight, packing 130-mile-an-hour winds, blinding sheets of rain, and the treacherous storm surge.
Harvey can't mess with Texas. So donate now to help make Texas whole again.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back to another coach who won't be coming back. Arthur Johnson also gave volleyball coach Bakir Ganacharatnam the axe on Monday. Coach Bake spent 11 seasons on North Broad, ending his tenure with a 55% winning clip. That included 4 20-win campaigns. The last 4 seasons have been all losing seasons, including this past year where the Owls were just 7-24. If you're looking for good news, we've searched high and wide, and we found it with some Big 5 basketball.
It had been 654 days since Temple played a Big 5 opponent, but that streak was broken when the Owls hosted LaSalle at the Liacouras Center on Wednesday night. This was Temple's 4th home game of the season, and Damian Dunn got the crowd excited early with this drive to the basket and lay-in. He finished with 16 points. Later in the first half, Caleb Battle drains the 3, part of his team-high 22 points. Battle did leave the game early, limping on a bad ankle though. Right before halftime, emotions ran high between these two rivals. After a foul call, there was some shoving, and Khalil Brantley and Anwar Gill for LaSalle and Nick Jourdain for Temple all received technical fouls. The Owls led by 17 at the break and kept pouring it on. Jeremiah Williams finishes through contact on this fast break drive. Temple moved the ball well on offense, recording 19 assists as a team, including this one from Jalil White to Jake Forrester. Owls win this one, 73-57.
I thought we got off to an okay start. We still have these unforced turnovers early in games, but we settled in. We made some shots, which is always good. But again, I'm still looking for that complete 40-minute game, and we struggled at the free throw line. Keep firing. We don't worry about statistics or numbers. Some of the statistics matter, but when you got those guys going, I feel good enough that we could play with anybody.
Now we bring on former Inside the Nest anchor Ray Dunn to take on a new sport.
This spring, Ray and I will join forces in hosting our basketball show, Courts in Session. So let's get a jump start. Ray, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So 7 games in, what are your expectations for the Temple men's basketball team this season?
Looking at this season, I'm expecting to learn a little bit more about what Aaron McKee wants to do. He finally has his own team, and you're getting to see a little bit of what he wants to do out there on the floor. I think offensively, I'm looking for more growth in what they're doing in the half court, where they're doing kind of to set up their offensives, going through their sets. There's been a little bit left to be desired with regards to that so far. And I think defensively, they've done a really good job down low, but I'm looking to see what they can do out in the perimeter, kind of defending the three-point arc a little bit better.
Exactly. They allowed over 50% three-point shooting to both Clemson and Boise State in that Charleston Classic. Both losses. They can't have that happen again.
Well, that being said, what do you guys think the Owls need to do to play in March?
See, going to what Jackson said about the Charleston Classic, I think that really set them back in terms of playing in March. Those 2 losses are going to loom large on their resume eventually. They're going to have to take care of business in the non-conference now, probably get a win down in Vanderbilt, play somewhat competitive with Villanova, and then win 70 to 75% of their games in conference. When they've gone to the tournament in the past, they've won 13, 14 games in the American.
And if they're going to get those wins, it comes down to one player, Caleb Battle. We saw him go out on Wednesday night with that injured ankle. They're going to need him at 100%. He's 13th in the country right now, averaging 21.5 points per game. They're going to need him at 100% if they're going to hope to pull off these upsets and get into the tourney in March.
So another one of those players on Temple's team is Jalil White. He's making a difference off the bench. And OwlSports Updates' Brielle Berry joins us live at the Leocore Center for more.
Yes, thank you, Sage. Jalil White committed to Temple after his junior year of AAU ball. That year, he also suffered his first meniscus tear. That is the same injury that knocked him out of his freshman year here at Temple. But now, White is healthy and looking to contribute to this team. Even the best plans don't always pan out. Wildwood Catholic's Jalil White had pretty high expectations coming to Temple as a 3-star recruit. That is until he tore his meniscus last October, which ultimately sidelined him for his entire freshman season.
Mentally, it was tough, especially because it's my second time doing the same exact injury, but it was tough mentally, but I got to learn a lot. I got to build better relationships with my teammates, get to help them from watching off the court.
At Wildwood Catholic, White averaged 16 points per game as a senior and led the team to its 3rd straight league title. But Jalil is not the only family member talented at basketball. His mother played for Wildwood and won a state title in 2000.
She's always on me, pushing me, and she actually knows what she's talking about, my whole family, basketball family, so they're always on me, pushing me, like coaching me at home, even like when I'm not in the gym, so it was great.
Not only does his family have high expectations for him, but his teammates as well. And they've seen tremendous growth since his arrival at Temple.
It's just a confidence thing for Jalil, and when he gets his confidence up, he can do whatever he wants on the court.
The 6'7" guard is typically one of the first guys to come off the bench. White is averaging 15 minutes per game this season and shooting 50% from the floor. In Wednesday's game against LaSalle, White had 5 points in 25 minutes of play. He was also the first guy to come off the bench. Reporting live from the Leocore Center, I'm Brielle Berry. Jackson and Sage, back to you on the desk.
Thank you, Brielle, for that story. We have to take another timeout, but don't worry, we'll be making a comeback of our own.
On the other side, Josh will reclaim his throne and return to the desk to talk about women's basketball with a last-second road win. And we will profile one of our own. Stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Station. Harvey barreled ashore overnight, packing 130-mile-an-hour winds, blinding sheets of rain, and the treacherous storm surge.
Harvey can't mess with Texas. So donate now to help make Texas whole again.
Welcome back on it. It's time for me to take a spot on the desk and get up close and personal to our graduating senior one last time.
I had to come back on desk one more time just to be with you, Josh. And this is a good time to talk about the women's basketball team that went to the wire on the road versus Georgetown.
Yes, they did, and a much-needed one as the ladies went down to D.C. looking to put together their first win streak of the year. No surprise here, that's Mia Davis powering in for Temple's first points of the game. But Georgetown was really in control throughout the first 3 quarters of the game, with Temple just keeping it close. Now, we'll see here Anaya Gourdine. She's showing off her shooting ability and keeping the deficit within reach. Now, after battling all the way back in the fourth, you can't leave the cookie jar open. Kelsey Ransom takes it coast to coast to keep the Hoyas in front. Now under a minute, 1-point game, and who takes the shot? The freshman. It's Gourdine again. Welcome to D1 Hoops. That's the game winner for the Owls as they come back and down Georgetown 49-47.
That win put the Owls a game above 500 and snapped a rough stretch that saw Temple lose 3 of 4 over an 11-day period. For a recap of the Owls season so far, we go to OwlSports Update's Sam Massad.
Thanks, guys. Temple women's basketball is 7 games into the season and only 1 game over 500. With a record of 4-3, the Owls are in the hunt for a potential successful season. Temple took down Georgetown in a thrilling comeback on Tuesday night to earn their winning record. The game was closed out by freshman Anaya Gourdine with the game-winning basket. Throughout the season, the Owls have been led by graduate standout Mia Davis, who has become the second most point getter in school history and is averaging 15.4 points per game this season. The Owls have had big performances by freshman Jaisha Clinton, junior Alexa Williamson, and graduate student Giselle Thomas. The team will face Duquesne for their next game this Sunday, December 5th, away at 1 p.m. Reporting from McGonigal Hall, I'm Sam Massad. Back to you guys on desk.
Thanks, Sam. Now, if my memory serves me, there hasn't been a piece done on an OwlSports Update team member in over 2 years. But when it comes to reporting on Temple athletics and being a part of Temple athletics, look no further than our very own Lindsay Moppert. The senior journalism major wears several hats, 5 of them to be exact. Cheerleader, MC, sideline reporter,
to do it again this time.
sports anchor,
I'm Lindsay Moppert, and alongside
intern.
Honestly, I think that the cooks at Uncle Bill's have
These are positions many college students have to choose between. But for Lindsay Moppert, this is just a day in the life.
I'll go to practice in about 45 minutes. It ends at 10. By the time we get back here, it's 10:30. So I'll get to bed at 12, set my alarm for 2:30, wake up at 2:30, and then leave for my internship at 3:30. I'll be there until 10. I'm going to be on the OwlSports show tomorrow, so I'll do that.
It's a lot. Once Lindsay has her eyes on the prize, it's hard to get her to stop.
Sleep is a mentality.
Honestly, I think if I didn't know her schedule, I would have no idea how busy it was. She's always there at practice. Like I said, she's always has a lot of energy.
Lindsay seems to be a master of all trades, but is keying in on one specific job after she leaves this building.
Her problem is going to be, in the first step out, what do I want to do? Because whatever she picks, she's going to be great at it.
I would pick sideline reporter. It kind of goes in with how much I love cheering on the sidelines. I love being in the action, and I do think that it lets me show my personality a little bit more.
I'm Josh Saffron, OwlSports Update. This spring, Lindsay will be anchoring our Tuesday show, Owl Access Pass. You can see these shows on our social media handles at OwlSports Update starting in late January.
It's now break time, and we've got some hardware to hand out. Stick around.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Bye-bye.
Get home safe.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Welcome back to the Sage Saffron Spotlight, and let's get right to it.
It's been out with the old and in with the new for Temple Athletics recently, but senior Murray Bullock-Bossy refused to leave Temple with a loss as the Owls finished off ECU 3-2 in the team's season finale. She tied her career high of 28 kills on senior day to win her very last match along with Coach Bake as an Owl.
Now, the women's basketball team seems like it's been sharing the wealth offensively each game, but it was the freshman Anaya Gordine who stepped up against Georgetown. She closed out a 22-7 fourth quarter run with a game-winning shot and has been shooting a steady 33% from three. My spotlight isn't the only recognition she's getting. Gordine was also last week's AAC Freshman of the Week.
And now over to cross country, where Michelle Joyce became just the second female runner in Temple history to qualify for the NCAA championship meet. She finished her final collegiate race 141st out of 250 participants, running the course in 20 minutes and 44 seconds, which was her third fastest 6K performance of the season.
Now, before we close out the year, I want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in this semester, watching Sage and myself take over the anchor desk. So much praise needs to go to our amazing team this semester for everyone's hard work week in and week out. I just sit here and read the words, so here's a look behind the scenes at how the magic happens.
Passes connected, and the Owl defense acted as a brick wall against St. Joseph's efforts.
The ice-cold mentality has kept Temple competitive against ranked opponents and in hostile territory.
While the game plan for getting new equipment is still up in the air, the Owls continue to practice on land.
I'm Jacob Smedley, and I have the very latest on the men's soccer team through their first 10 games.
Sayers' basketball journey at Temple started right here at 16th and Berks.
Thanks, guys. Yes, men's crew and women's rowing team are finally back after the devastating floods from Hurricane Ida in early September.
President Wingard's vision to do this is through bringing athletic success in football and basketball back to Broad Street.
Well, it may be the final OwlSports update show of the semester, but we still have one more show to calm your OwlSports withdrawal. This time, without a doubt, the most successful member of Temple's athletic staff gets her own 30-minute special. We call it Built on Broad, 50 Years of Frank, as Nikki Frank celebrates her 50th year as coach at Temple. And it's Thursday, December 9th at noon, hosted by Ray Dunn. And a lot of credit goes to our wonderful senior producer, Haley Palmer, for making that happen.
With this being my last time here at the desk in Studio 3, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone here at OwlSports Update. We often joke that this is a family here at OSU, and it truly has been that for me. Thank you to everyone for making the show my favorite part of being at Temple.
Yeah, Jackson, really going to miss you, man. And Trevor Schmidt, everyone's favorite Canadians fan. It's going to be tough without you guys. But thank you so much for joining us this year with OwlSports Update. For Jackson, I'm Josh Saffron, and hopefully I'll be seeing you real soon.
Thanks for watching.